Today on part 3 of Yvonne Douglas's A Scandinavian Inspired Christmas, we're going to make these beautiful Scandinavian star ornaments that would look so pretty on your Christmas tree. And we're going to make some delicious Swedish meatballs and Mama's cucumber salad, all on the next Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. So stay tuned. So today we're going to make these beautiful Scandinavian star ornaments. This one is actually a double one. I made a regular size one and then put a small one right on top of it. And I just love the double look. It looks really, really pretty and it looks great on my Scandinavian inspired Christmas tree. So what will you need for this project? You're going to need 4 strips of fabric, and the fabric needs to be 2.5 inches wide and 14 inches long. And the colors that I chose are basically red and white because that is the theme of my Christmas tree this year. And I did choose these two. This is really, really pretty. This has red and white, but it has little touches of green in it too. And then this one is mostly red and a little pop of green. So I think these 4 designs are gonna look awesome together. And one thing I highly recommend you do is to use fabric stabilizer on your fabric strips because it's going to be easier to manipulate. And so let's get started. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do is you're going to fold your fabric strips in half, and you want to use an iron, get a hot iron, and you're going to make a nice crease down the center, and you're also going to fold your fabric one side to that crease in the middle, and then use your iron again. So it's almost like you're making bias tape. Alright, so then you have your nice strip like this. Make sure it's ironed nicely. I'm even going to go back over it a little bit more. That's why I'm saying that fabric stabilizer really helps. Alright, and now I'm going to do the same thing to the next 3. Okay, so I folded and ironed my 4 different strips, my 4 different designs of my fabric, and like I said, you can use remnants that you have in the house, or I like to use these fabric strips. These are Jingle Pops from the Hoffman company, and these are really awesome. They're such beautiful Christmas designs, holiday designs, and I just love using these. So this is what I use, but you can use any fabric that you want. Alright, so I have my 4 strips, and once again, I made sure that I ironed them down. If you see they're popping up a little bit like mine are doing, just use a little bit of water and really go over them really well, and make sure you have some nice crisp strips that are going to be easy to manipulate. Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to show you how to fold these and weave these together to create this beautiful Scandinavian star ornament. Okay, so we're back. So we're going to put our strips together. Now, one thing I want to show you is make sure that your short sides are facing you and that you have your creases, you know, where it's folded here. You need one going down, one going up, one going to the left, and one going to the right. That's super important for this interlocking procedure. So we're going to start. So I'm going to place this one inside of here, and I'm not going to pull it yet. I'm going to place this one inside of there, so it's going to like alternate. This is like almost like basket weaving. And then we want this one going through here, so you're going to loop it through, and then this one goes through this, where it comes out on the other side. And then you're gonna pull. Then you will pull it tightly, interlock it. And make sure you pull it tightly. You want it very snug. Oh, I love how that looks. Look at that pattern, it looks so pretty. Can you see that? All right, so now we're going to flip it over, and the long sides that you see, you're going to fold, only the long sides, you're gonna fold over to the next side. So I'm folding this over, and you just go in order, clockwise position. So fold the top one, then the next, then the next, and then the next. Real easy, but this last one, you're going to put it through the loop, okay? Put it through the loop. And then you want to pull it tightly, just like that. It looks so pretty. All right, so and notice that the length of all these are approximately the same, and that's what you want. I like to always give another little rub with the iron. All right, and then we're going to start. Now it doesn't matter how you start, what side, but I'm going to start with the, so when you see the two sides coming together on one strip, you know where the fold is, that's the side you want to fold down. So I'm going to make a triangle, get my iron, and then flip it over, make another triangle, and then bring this side over on top of that triangle, just like that. And this is where you need some fabric fuse, and fabric fuse is sort of like glue, and then you're going to put some fabric fuse on it. I'll kind of dry it up a little bit. Put some fabric fuse and press it together. This little flap here, hopefully you can see that, you're going to just tuck it inside that little part. Okay, so right over there. So let me open up my fabric fuse a little bit more. All right, so I'm gonna get my fabric fuse and make sure that's there, and then I'm gonna start folding. Let's see, I'm gonna add just a little bit more fabric fuse on this side. And you just need a little fabric fuse, okay? Then you might wanna go a little bit more with the iron. Press down a little bit. All right, so now I'm gonna work on my next side. And my next side, I'm gonna fold this down. I once again go with your iron. Your iron is your friend in this project. And then you're going to make another triangle. Once again, go with your iron. And then fold this part over, just like that. Hopefully you can see that, just like that. And add a little iron again. And you want your fabric fuse. And then tuck this part. You want to tuck this part in. And you can use your scissors to kind of help tuck it in a little bit, or just your fingers should be okay. Sometimes I use a bone folder. That kind of helps kind of tuck it in a little bit. And then go with your fabric fuse. Look at that. Oh, it's looking so good. Okay. Love how that looks. So right now we have these two little points. See that on the star. All right, so I'm going to continue doing that. Let me fold it one more time. So let's watch, okay? So you get one side, make a triangle, go with your iron, flip it over, make another triangle, like you're almost making an equilateral triangle. Let's bring in some of those geometry terms. And then flip it over. So it's a right triangle. Tuck that part in. Use your fabric fuse. Remember, just a little fabric fuse should work. gonna use my scissor just to help tuck it in a little bit. And then use your iron just to get a nice crisp line. And then you keep going. And you just keep going all the way around. Okay, so I'm on my last step, my last star point, and about to use a little bit of my fabric fuse. Bring this over, press together. I'm using my scissors to help tuck the fabric behind that piece, and add a little bit more fabric fuse just to keep it nice. And then press one more time with the iron. Oh, look at it, looks fantastic. Oh my gosh, I just love how that looks. Beautiful star ornament. Now, I also want to add some really pretty red ribbon here, and I'm going to loop it basically like this. I'm gonna place, you want to tuck your probably one side, let's do this, one side in here. And what I like to do is just add my fabric fuse, and I'm going to just tuck the ribbon in there, press down, hold down for just a little bit. And then you want to do this one, add some of the fabric fuse again, tuck that down behind the little flap there. I'm going to use my scissor and tuck it in a little bit. And then straighten it out, because you definitely want it to be nice and straight. And then I'm going to use some more fabric fuse just to make sure it's sticking. You would not want your ribbon to fall apart. And I'm just gonna let that set for a little bit, but basically that's it. Look at that, so pretty. And this is just, like I said, this is just the plain one. If you wanted to do a double one, like this one, you just make a smaller one and place it right on top. And there you go, you have your Scandinavian inspired star ornament. So here it's finally done, my Scandinavian inspired star ornament. I love how these look. You can do a double one, like I said, or you could just make the single. Either way, they're gonna look fantastic on your tree. Well, now we're gonna make Mama's cucumber salad, and this is the way my mom used to make cucumber salad. And let me tell you the ingredients that you're going to need. So you're gonna need a cucumber. Now it depends on how many people you're having. If you're having 4 to 6 people over, you probably wanna use 2 or 3 large cucumbers. This example here, I'm just showing you with one. And so you wanna slice that up about 1/8 of an inch thick. And we're going to use a small red onion. You want to chop that up really small. You want to use a teaspoon of dill weed and about a teaspoon of sugar you're going to need. And you'll need some lemon zest, probably about, I'd say about a teaspoon of lemon zest for this amount. Altmeister vinegar, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of that. And you're going to need 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. So what you want to do after you slice your cucumbers, you have it in a bowl, and you want to sprinkle it with a little salt. And what the salt is going to do, it's going to release all those juices. And you want to set this aside in the refrigerator for approximately probably about an hour, okay? And so I'm gonna just put some handy wrap over this and add this to my refrigerator. Now, in a bowl, you wanna start preparing your sour cream mixture. So this is 1/3 cup of sour cream. And you're going to add your dill weed. You're going to add your sugar and your onions. I'm also going to get a tablespoon of this vinegar. This is Altmeister seasoned vinegar. You can find this at Kubi's if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or you can also find this online. It's Altmeister German seasoned vinegar. And so I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon to that. And I'm going to get my zester out. And I'm going to zest some lemon. And this is probably about, I'd say a teaspoon. Maybe about a teaspoon of lemon zest. Okay? Smells good. I just love lemon. All right. And then you're going to mix this together. And then you're going to add some handy wrap over this and place this in the refrigerator too. And after an hour, you're going to then drain your cucumber juices out and then add it to your mixture. So when we come back, that's what we'll do. Okay, so I took my cucumbers out of the refrigerator and they've been sitting in there for an hour. And I also took out my sour cream mixture here. So what I want to do is all the juices that are from the cucumber, I want to drain those, and then I'm going to add it to my mixture. Okay, so I just drained my cucumbers and I'm going to add them to my mixture here and give it a good toss. Looks so good. I cannot wait to give it a quick taste test because that's what I like to do. All right. I love the red onions in here with the green cucumbers. It looks very Christmassy. And the white, the sour cream. All right, looks really good. Excellent. Let me taste it. Oh my God. That's good. Thanks, Mom. Delicious, delicious cucumber salad, and it goes great with Swedish meatballs. Okay, so today you're going to make some delicious Swedish meatballs. I cannot wait for you to try this recipe. Let me tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need 1/2 pound of ground beef, 1/2 pound of ground pork, a little bit of pepper. You're going to need 1 egg, 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, 3/4 of a cup of plain breadcrumbs. I like to use the Progresso plain breadcrumbs. You're going to need a little bit of sour cream, a little bit of salt, 2 cups of milk, 1/4 of a cup of heavy cream, and 1/4 of a cup of finely chopped parsley, fresh parsley, and 1/2 cup of finely chopped onions. Now, it's super important that you chop up your onions really, really small, very, very fine, because you don't want any large chunks in your meatballs. And my dad used to say, when onions are finely chopped and they're placed in a dish, it's going to make it taste a lot better. I don't know why, but that's what he used to say. Anyway, another thing that's super, super important for this meal is using Knorr bouillon beef cubes. So this is beef bouillon cubes. That's Knorr's beef bouillon cubes. And these beef bouillon cubes come in these little cubes, just like this. And you probably want to cut this one in half, add it to a cup, and get some boiling hot water and a little whisk here and kind of whisk it up. Make sure you break up that bouillon cube. It should totally be dissolved in the hot boiling water. And we're going to be adding that to our dish. All right, so when we come back, we're going to put all this together, so stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back. So we're gonna start baking our dish. So I'm gonna get my 1 egg, I'm gonna crack it in my bowl here. And you wanna beat that up with a fork. This is the way my mom used to show me how to do it. Okay, so after that, we're going to combine the egg and some heavy cream. So we're going to combine the egg and the heavy cream. This is 1/4 of heavy cream. I'm placing this in a large bowl here, so you can see. And I'm going to add my egg. I'm going to also get my breadcrumbs, add it to my bowl, my parsley, my onions. So you're just combining all these ingredients in this one large bowl. Smells so good. We're also going to add, this is probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. I just kind of eyeball it. And then we're going to add, which is super, super important, is the nutmeg. And I'm going to just stir all this together. You want to combine all that together. Smells so good. And then to that mixture, you're going to add your ground beef and your ground pork. And don't forget, that's 1/2 pound of ground beef and 1/2 pound of ground pork. Remember, when you're cooking, always wash your hands, okay? Because we're going to kind of mix this all together with our hands. So you can see how we're mixing this up, okay? Yummy, yum. Okay, I'm also going to add just a pinch, just a little bit of salt. Now, the reason why I add just a little bit of salt, because I don't like to oversalt my foods, and I figure my guests, if they want more salt, they can just add more salt. So I usually do not add a lot of salt to my dishes because, you know, a lot of people can't take a lot of salt, so they can kind of season it the way they want it. All right, so I got my mixture here. I want to make my meatballs. So how you make it? Oh, really easy. First of all, you want to roll up your sleeves. Got my sleeves rolled up. Then you want to make your meatballs. So I don't like making really, really large meatballs, so mine are kind of on the smaller side, maybe small to medium size. But the way I make it's probably, let's say, almost like a little bit smaller than an egg, so about like that size. And these are going to be perfect for my Scandinavian inspired Christmas dinner party I'm going to have. Okay, so another thing that you probably want to get going is your water. You want to start boiling up your water for your fettuccine noodles, because I'm going to be making fettuccine noodles with these Swedish meatballs. But anyway, let me show you once again. These are my meatballs about this size. So far I have around 27. So let's see, this makes 28, 29, and 30. So making them this size, I'll show you really quickly. Making them this size, you'll get about 30 meatballs. All right? So when we come back, I'm going to show you how to cook them up. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back and we're going to start cooking up our Swedish meatballs. So what I like to do in a large skillet, I'm going to just put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil at the base, just a little bit. And I'm going to also add the 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay, and I'm going to let that melt, and we're going to add the meatballs to that hot skillet once it is ready. Okay, so I have around a medium heat going on here. My butter is almost melted. I have my boiling hot water. It's getting ready for my fettuccine noodles. And now let me add my meatballs to my skillet. Now, tongs are super, super important. They're like the indispensable cooking tool to have in your kitchen, so you definitely want to make sure you have some tongs. All right, so I am adding my meatballs to my skillet. Yum, looks so good. So we're going to cook these up. We want to make sure that they are brown, and once they are brown, we're going to take them out of the skillet and make our delicious gravy, so stay tuned. Let me show you really quickly how awesome they're looking. Oh, they're getting so nice and brown. And you want to cook these until you see no more pink showing. So it could be probably around 10 to 15 minutes, depending. These are pretty small, so I think probably around 15 minutes will be good. All right, so when we come back, we're going to make our gravy. Okay, let's see if they're done. Wow, yeah, they look great. Oh my gosh, they smell so good too. You should smell them. Oh, look how awesome they look. Yummy, yum. All right, so what you want to do, I see no more pink. All the pink is gone, but one way to test for sure is just get a knife. And I'm gonna get a little fork here. And I just want to open up one, all right? So if you open up one just a little bit and you check inside, if there's no pink showing, then you're safe, and there's no pink showing. So when we come back, we're gonna put that gravy together. Okay, so next what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our meatballs out of the pan, and we're gonna just transfer them to a plate. So this is probably good for maybe a family of 4 or 2 very, very hungry people. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make our gravy. So before we make our gravy, let me just show you, I got my pasta here. My pasta is pretty much done. It's just fettuccine noodles, and just follow the instructions on the box. It needs to cook in boiling water for approximately 12 minutes or so. So my fettuccine noodles are done. I'm gonna shut that off, and then we're going to make our gravy. Okay, so when we make our gravy, we're gonna leave the drippings in the pan. Very important that you leave the drippings in the pan. And we're going to add our flour. This is our 2 tablespoons of flour. And we're also going to add our bouillon, beef bouillon to it. And I'm gonna get a whisk, and I'm just going to kind of whisk that up. That looks really good. So we're going to make like this paste. And then I'm gonna add my 2 cups of milk. And I am using whole milk. I'm gonna add my pepper. And I just add enough pepper to coat pretty much the top. Get my whisk. I'm gonna put this on a medium flame. I'm gonna get my wooden spoon here and stir it. No, you can see it's getting bubbly here. And that's what you want. You want it to get it bubbly. And now I'm going to lower the heat. This is when I'm going to add just a little bit of sour cream. This is probably about half a tablespoon of sour cream. And I'm going to use my whisk again and kind of combine that into my sauce. Use my spoon just to give it a nice good stir. So good. So I'm going to cook this for 1 more minute. Take a little taste, see if it needs anything. Oh my gosh, it doesn't need anything. That is good. Yummy. I just love Swedish meatballs. So we have our great gravy here. We have our fettuccine noodles made. Oh gosh, that's good. That's so good. All right. Got our fettuccine noodles made, Swedish meatballs made. Now we're gonna put it all together. Well, here it is, our Swedish meatballs. I cannot wait for you guys to try it. It is so delicious. God jul!